listeners, this is Gina Versa coming from you from the universe. You can see my background if you're watching on YouTube. But we're doing a special podcast today. I'm interviewing some good friends of mine. One of them's my roommate, but we're going to be talking about a movie they produced, and it's an independent film called Midnight Run, which I had the pleasure of. You guys gave me a screener to it, so I'm glad to promote it. I have excuse me. I have these two people that I'll introduce. So first off, to my right is Richard Hernandez. How are you doing, Richard?
Hello, hey, hi, Gene. Thank you for having us here.
Yeah, no, thanks for being on the Waffle Press podcast, man.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I have my good friend and roommate. He's literally a couple doors down. Is Alejandro? How you doing, buddy?
Hey, pretty good. How you guys doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay.
I'm good. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
Excited. Yeah.
So yeah. It's good to have you aboard. Alejandro was here on this podcast. God, like last year. So
Yeah, before the pandemic, after the Oscars with Parasite won.
That's right. Yeah. Hell yeah,
Yeah.
Parasite, dude. But this is Richard. Your first time on the Waffle Press. Have you been on a podcast before?
I have, yes, once, but it was an audio one, but not a video one. That's for sure. So
Okay.
first time here.
Yeah. So, yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see a really cool Simpsons poster.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, can you guys tell us a little bit about yourselves for any listeners that this may be their first time listening to an episode with you guys on?
Sure, I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Richard Hernandez. I'm a filmmaker over here in East Los Angeles, and yeah, we just wrapped up not just, but COVID. But we just finished our first feature-length film. So that was a pretty big step right there. But yeah, that's yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What about just kind of? Is this your first feature, Midnight Run, or have you directed anything
Yeah,
else?
I've done about 3 to 4 other short films beforehand, but I just after that fourth one, I thought it would be a crazy idea, but also cool to just go ahead and just start writing and working on a feature film. I mean, I think that's what everyone kind of like essentially wants to do at first. I think they just want to go straight into it. I think maybe I was crazy enough to just do it all, prematurely than just planning, especially since this one was made with no money involved. So a zero budget film. So
yeah. Have you it's kind of like the Robert Rodriguez school of making a movie.
Definitely, there was a lot of showcasing those 10-minute film school videos to my crew.
Yeah,
you get a lot of pointers from there. It's very resourceful. He's a very smart man.
He is, yeah. That's why he directed the best episode of Mandalorian, the one with Boba Fett.
That was a very cool episode. Yeah, definitely.
I was just gonna say I would recommend anyone who is looking to make movies or is looking for inspiration, definitely read his book Rebel Without a Film Crew. It's like a Bible right there. For
yes.
It's a good read, but especially it's pretty interesting to just see his perspective and like how to acquire anything and make use of his resources.
Yeah.
Because of that, I think he's very genius. Like especially since he did it at such an early age. But then again, he had to be a little bold and like reckless to do stuff, especially what he did.
Yeah, he sold his body for science.
Basically. But how else are you gonna make money at the age of 23 or early years of 20 anyways? But,
yeah, definitely. Yeah, Alejandro, can you say a little about yourself as well?
Well, I met Richard. We went to the same community college, PCC Cinema Mafia. But we met at a festival. I was really impressed with his film Red Door. Was it
Scenarios?
Scenarios, yeah. So that I always think of the Red Door Scenarios. And then we just became acquaintances. I met him at a party for another short film that we worked at with a friend, and then he told me about the feature idea he was working on. By then he was already filming and working on it, I came on board as assistant director, and I had like a little cameo in the movie, but my scene didn't make it to the cut, which was fine. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Unfortunately,
you
but
can't get, yeah. It's like, I think with the film, has to you have to find the right pace and yeah. And then we just talked about the project that he was working on. I was very impressed. But I mean, as assistant director, I saw his storyboards. I was looking at his setups. Most of Richard's films take place during night, and this one was also taking place during night. The way he described it was very appealing to me, very inspiring. So I decided to help him out. And then I was able to attend the premiere and watch the first cut of the movie. And then Richard last he reached out like November, December that he wanted to do a physical release for Midnight Run, and I had some experience with physical releases because some of my short films, my editor and friend Adrian Aispuro made some Blu-rays for it, but I wasn't sure what the price was, so we started digging in and finding different programs that were gonna help us create the Blu-ray because at the beginning it was only for like uh, people who work in the movie, actors, crew members. But then we started talking. We started having new ideas of like what will be a potential distribution for the movie.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, I know it's you always want to network, especially in like film. That's like your strongest resource. So, and that's how you and me met, and yeah, I guess like Richard too on a film set as well.
yeah, actually, that's pretty funny. I mean, I think that's how we're gonna meet most of our
Yeah.
future collaborators and
I
friends.
only
As well.
socialize through movie sets now. That's sad, but it's what can I do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I don't. What do you else do you talk about? Sports, TV shows. I don't know. So like, for any audience member, can you tell us like what is the synopsis of Midnight Run? Well,
Crap.
yeah.
Well, you know what? It's kind of funny, but I think if anything, Alejandro has actually worked on trying to trying to condense condense my version of the plot. I'm not I'm like the worst when it comes to log lines.
Okay. Yeah, I know log
But
lines are hard. Or how would you like
they're
pitch
tough.
this?
But
Yeah, pitch
yeah.
this to someone.
I think Richard told me like it's a coming of age movie told as a grindhouse film. It's Halloween night. Two friends, Felix and Brian, um, they're they're about to leave the party. They get left behind by the person who was supposed to give them a ride home, so they have to walk because they live in that neighborhood, so they have to walk home. In that walk home, they're robbed by this group of masked skaters, and I'm gonna probably like not be
Oh
a
yeah,
good log
without.
line that does time ago, but they meet a mysterious driver. His name is Joe, and they realize that that driver is involved with some of the gangs that also involved with the people who mugged them and stole their belongings. And it's just a one night overnight odyssey about them connecting as two friends. So one of them is moving. This all takes place in a fictional East Los Angeles, known as River City in the movie. We shot it all in the Montebello, City of Terrace, Boyle Heights, East Los Angeles, where we currently reside and where Richard is very familiar with.
Right. Yeah.
And
Yeah. We live somewhere in that area
yeah,
without giving our address away.
Yeah, you
but
do. You do live like you pretty much just you're like jointed into there, I
Yeah.
believe. But
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
essentially in the same area. Yeah.
I was biking actually at night to get to set. I remember Richard. That was on my bike.
You know, I thought that was funny because I think you had seen it on the GPS or so that night we were shooting the scene that unfortunately got cut, or at least a portion of it. Had to do with my friend's backyard. We just like made it into a set, but it's in Boyle Heights, so your guys' location is like not too far, but the fact that I heard that you were taking a bike over here, I was like, what? You could just take the Gold Line, which
Yeah,
the Gold Line
yeah,
actually crosses through East LA, all through East
yeah.
LA,
It's the last
and up
stop.
north.
Yeah, the last
Yeah,
stop is Atlantic Station in Montebello. So,
yeah.
so I was gonna say, I guess if anyone didn't know, I grew up mostly at the border of Montebello, East LA for a good part of my childhood. I moved to Whittier, so I really know that area well. And Richard, are you a? Because I know Alejandro, you're from San Diego originally, but Richard, did you grow up in Did you grow up in East Los, that kind of City Terrace area?
Uh, I moved a lot as a child.
Mm.
So there's like, I guess I would say it's segmented. It's just phases. So like, I guess my elementary school years, I did stay in East Los Angeles, Central East Los Angeles, First
Okay.
Street, and eventually moved over to Boyle Heights,
Okay.
and I stood there for like a good probably 5 years later. Came back around my high school years back to East Los Angeles, and now I'm currently in Montebello.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, I know
So
those.
I jumped around, but
Yeah, I
but
lived.
in
Yeah,
the surrounding areas.
I lived right across the street from the Astor Burger.
That's actually pretty close, at least
Oh,
from where I'm currently staying.
yeah, it's on Beverly. But yeah, I was gonna say, you guys really, because Richard, you directed, and Alejandro, you produced. Um,
I jump in as an assistant director, but
okay,
I did some of, like, I guess what we consider associate producer or executive producer right now. But
okay,
yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, you guys really captured. You really captured that area, the East LA area, really well. I think I can't think of any other film that really got like the vibe of those that place because I know that area, and there's like places like freaking like that we know that we've been to, like freaking El Tepeyac, Astor Burger I mentioned. You know, I'm trying to think of some other like there used to be like a comic book store I used to go to. I forgot what it was called in.
Oh yeah, that was Comic City, right?
Comic City, yeah.
That was in yeah. Currently now under new ownership, I believe it's Game Hogs.
Oh, okay.
That's a retro game store.
It's not
Yeah.
comics anymore, huh?
No more comics. The comic stands are still there. He's still making use of those, but it's
Oh,
no
okay.
longer comics. I think he's selling old retro magazines like Game Informers and Nintendo Powers, but he made use of
Yeah.
it.
Oh yeah, no, because I was gonna say I think this is my theory for Los Angeles movies. For the most part, I think the, the ones that are successful that capture the city well are like the people that grew up in LA, like the LA natives. Like those are the people that tell that story. So I was like, can you talk a little bit just about that, just like how you managed to just like fit the city? I know it's like called River City, but kind of like fit like that area so well. I'm like, oh, I know that place, I know that place. Made the most sense.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, I think it's I think it really comes down to the streets and the neighborhoods, as well as locations that you just often like commute throughout your whole life. So you know it so well, and also you kind of get an eye for familiarity. You also gravitate towards that. So I feel like that's a really strong, ability to just capture that on film. And also the really funny thing is that whenever, even from people that just watch films, especially from East LA,
Yeah.
they go nuts when they see something that's familiar, especially
Yeah.
I think some of the common ones is Blood In, Blood Out. they always whenever you're in East LA, there's at least someone that's visiting always wants to take a picture over it,
Well, I was gonna say I met this was just being on set. It's like probably this guy was fucking weird, but like yeah, he was asking me where I was from, and I'm like, oh yeah, I grew up
Okay.
here in Pomona. Maybe I was like born in Pomona, moved to East LA, moved to Whittier, and I was like, he's like East LA, it's like that place, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's like, well there was crime there, and I'm like, oh.
Excuse me.
I would say I don't know if it like gets a bad rap on film, but I feel like it gets really exaggerated as like this like I don't know, the way the guy was talking about it. It was like he was talking about it like it was Hell's Kitchen in the '80s,
That's
and it's like
crazy.
it's not like that at all. I don't know.
I wouldn't know personally, but maybe it's the way it's portrayed on like media. It's gonna be forever cemented in that way.
With like blood
Uh,
in, blood out.
Probably, but
Yeah.
regardless, I think it's stylistic choice that makes it look a certain way, anyways. So,
Yeah.
but if I guess if there's one thing I'd like to showcase, it's just not that, you know,
Yeah, exactly. Because I think,
especially.
yeah, the city has like a lot of culture. Like my grandma, she lived off of Beverly. She was technically in East LA, and there was just like a nice old neighborhood. It was like, they had like just like the nicest people. It's not, this like this this weird, fictional like Grand Theft Auto city.
Yeah, I mean, sure,
That's
you
all
can
good.
portray it that way, but then again, what other city is? I think that's just people trying to super stylize a location just for the
Yeah.
sake of entertainment,
Have
which
you
is
got?
completely fine because like who's gullible enough to believe
Yeah,
that?
I guess this like random sound guy I met on set.
That's funny, but
Yeah,
that's cool. I like that perception. It's sick.
yeah. I was like, did you guys see that meme where it's like, it's on probably like movie set memes where it's like this pair of like sunglasses, and it's like, oh, it's like when production's filming anywhere else, and then it's like the guy puts on the sunglasses when production's filming in Mexico, and everything has like the yellow tint.
Oh yeah, it's
Filter.
all sepia and
Yeah, Sevi and Oaks
that's
Dangerous.
hilarious.
But yeah,
I
that's
hate
kind of
that.
yeah, I really do. Yeah, like that's
And
that's
it's
a
still being practiced today. It's very strange, but
yeah,
I thought that would die down. I thought color would come back, but no,
I guess
it's all this monotone, dreadful. Like we live in this
yeah,
town.
it's only in
Yeah.
American movies too. Like I guess.
Especially, I mean, how else would they not know what to talk about or see? Just
Yeah, and kind of going off that subject, I'm not sure if you guys know that it's that Netflix show You. Have you heard of that?
You
yes, I
no.
have.
So
I
You,
haven't watched it though.
okay.
I'm sorry, but
No, no, it's all right. But like, there's a season because I haven't watched the show, but I know what people told me, and this is just based off of like what I've read and whatever. I have not seen the show, but they say the way they portray Los Angeles is how like a transplant, an LA transplant would do it. So it's only the West Side. It's only like Santa Monica, Culver City. That's only areas they portray. Like I don't know, they portray Hollywood, but that's it. And I think like the breadth and the width of LA is portraying. Well, there's obviously Santa Monica. There's obviously the pier, but like the LA people know that a lot of like residents you live in like South Central, Boyle Heights, East LA, Montebello. They know all the counties of LA. They know how big the county of LA is, like Whittier. You know, it's a big place.
it
So
is definitely,
yeah,
yeah.
so I think he really accurately portrayed that on film.
Thank you. That's actually really nice to hear.
Yeah, definitely. Because yeah, I just get really annoyed like when I see like I don't know, like just the like the yuppie versions of like Los Angeles and film. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, definitely the whole the tourist attraction areas, I
yeah,
guess.
exactly. Yeah,
It's
like Fast and the Furious, they pretty, the first one, right?
I mean, the
Hey.
first one was nice.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say even that is accurate. That happens in
That was
Echo Park
accurate, if
and
anything.
Westlake.
mostly.
They weren't
And
show they weren't nearly showing as much as downtown LA as other films at that time.
yeah,
So even I believe that it was very condensed for what that was, especially that budget. But
oh yeah,
I liked it.
yeah, for
But
sure.
I won't get into the Fast and Furious. I think we had a whole conversation with me and Alejandro regarding that series. It's
yeah.
still a great series though,
So
but in
I fucking
regards
love
to
it. Yeah.
Yeah,
but there's definitely it needs to go back to its central roots,
yeah,
obviously.
not in space.
Not in space, not swinging via a chain.
Yeah,
I don't know if you've seen the latest clip,
I
but
saw it. I saw it.
that
But
is
yeah, can you talk a little bit about production? We could go back to kind of writing it, but kind of like, can you take us through like location scouting and kind of like because these like all the shoot was at night. It reminded me of like the battle of Winterfell in Game of Thrones where it was all night shoots. So talk a little
right,
bit
right.
about that, how grueling that was, or what have you.
Yeah, definitely. So I think it was I guess it gets divided into two two sets of minds. One, we had to find a way to shoot this film on the streets, in specifically the locations we wanted to, without anyone bothering us. And I think that the easiest way to do so was to shoot it when everyone's asleep. I mean, it just evades problems, and it's not nearly as much cops that you would think there would be. And plus, I don't think cops were even the main issue, or ever an issue actually, and during our set. It was mainly whoever was just hanging around at night and just was looking for trouble. But in regards to that, I don't think we hardly even had any issues. But the choice does come down to one being a stylistic choice, as well as something that was necessary. Mm-hmm. And plus, I have a knack for just, or at least not even a knack, just like a gravitation to just shoot during the nighttime. Yeah. I don't know. It looks
nice on because you shot on film.
I actually shot it on a Blackmagic pocket camera, the first generation.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks
very
nice
low
camera.
profile. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
That's a really small camera, right?
Yeah, almost looks like a toy. Really funny when you set up a rig on it. It's almost comical, but it looks like a toy point and shoot because of how small the body is and how big the lens could really be sometimes.
Yeah.
But it does have its flaws, but the picture quality and just the way it like managed for my workflow, it did wonders for me. But now it's really beat up. I put it to rest.
Yeah, to retire. Yeah, I went to.
Yeah, unfortunately, but anyways.
Can you talk a little bit about the look of the film too? Because it looks really cool at like night and everything. I know you kind of added some like filters and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. So, I guess primarily I'm just jumping back onto the fact that we shot it at night to showcase like locations. I don't know. I think the way that some streets and some locations are just vacant. The idea of having a vacant area as well as a well lit area just by just mere moonlight and street light. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You kind of just notice things that you don't usually do. And I usually just take notice of locations, regardless of the look of it. I just find it special. But in the back of my head, I'm like, oh, that could make a really good location if shit has seen it.
Yeah.
Most of the time that's mainly my excuse, but also it's just like you got to be familiar with the area to even know whether or not it's safe. But that's why location scouting comes in. And yeah, location scouting, it's really just the locations we chose were just places we were often at. We shot like at two burger joints. Mm-hmm. First, one is let's see, by I think on First Street as well. Okay. My friend actually worked there for a bit. Asked like, hey, is it cool if we could shoot? He's like, yeah, it's fine. Well, honestly, we close at 9 p.m. Everyone leaves. I'm like, the cameras, they don't work. I'm like, all right, cool. We just jumped in there. I went there, nice. I think a week before, test shot, saw how the available light worked when the lights turned off, because there's some timed lights in some buildings. And then we just set up our own lights and we shot for an hour, a test shoot. And then a week later, come when the actual shoot came, we just went ahead and just did it, winged it, and just took our time there. But I guess it's very DIY in that sense. But you can get away with a lot with just places that you just know that aren't just going to give you any trouble.
Yeah, doing guerrilla style, kind of stealing the location.
Yeah, I definitely value that filmmaking method. Only because it's not you can get away with so much without worrying about it so as well. Yeah, and money becomes an issue when you start thinking about it too much. And you don't necessarily need a permit for most things. Just ask. I think that just comes down to that. You could just ask. The second location we shot at was another burger joint. It was right next to it. There's also a driveway. They were fine with it. We bought like chili cheese fries. We actually incorporated it in the scene. But they were cool with it. Yeah.
I love that scene where it felt very lived in, because it's like the character, his friends are trying to like steal his fries. They keep asking. And I think like we all been in that situation where we might have been the person like, hey, can I have one?
Yeah, sometimes we don't have $5 on us, I mean, you have food and you don't dare share with us. Just kind of person are you,
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah. But yeah, that's primarily the look of it. But for like a stylistic choice, I did want it to look like a B movie, like how Alejandro explained, very grindhousey look. Presentation wise, I knew that for its shortcomings, at least for a movie that was no budget, I had to at least presented in a way where it was interesting visually, you know. So that's where the idea of a grindhouse B movie drive-in style type of like feature was brought up. I think that choice came probably right after I wrote it. I was thinking, okay, how am I gonna like differentiate this movie? You know, like it just could fall into the category at that moment, at any category. It could be just a normal coming of age film, and you know that's it. You know, it's pretty boring, I guess you would say, in standard. But at that time, I think I was like 22.
Okay.
I was just like I was just excited to just jump into it, especially a feature film. So I thought, you know, why not? Why not add as much as I could? What is there to lose? I wasn't gonna lose any money either. You know, like we're gonna shoot this with no money on our free time every like weeknight, every other weeknight, sorry, and whenever we could. And like, you know, at the end of the day, where we're just gonna like look back at this project. That was the end goal, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh, why not? Why not just like implement whatever you want, and you know, practice everything that you wanted over, like you've been wanting and thinking about over the years, and just like add it in there. Some might not work, but you grow to learn that, you know. As for anything, things just, you know, you just had to try. That's the thing. And I spoke about it with my friends, which are my crew, and they just agreed on it. You know, they thought it was cool. They thought it was fine, a bit confusing, but you know, I think until you see the final product, you kind of understand when someone's trying to explain something to you. You don't know what they're trying. You don't know what's going on in their heads until you get some sort of visualization. But I took some test shoots, of course. I try to do my own like edit, like versions of like scenes I have written out, and then I showed them off, and then like I guess it was a proof of concept stage right there, you know. Had to see if it was actually going to work or not. But I think that, yeah, really I think the main challenge was to like prove it to yourself whether or not you're gonna be okay with doing this for the next like so and so years, you know.
Yeah.
I think that's for any project, I believe.
Yeah. Well, you know, at least, you know, at the end of the day, you just say to yourself, like, at least you did it. Like, you, like, you know, you didn't have anything to, like, prove to anyone, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, so Richard, guys, tell us a little bit, I guess this is more for Richard. Can you talk a little bit about, like, influences, kind of, like, writing the feature? Anything you want to elaborate on that? Because I was going to say, like, right off the bat, I don't know if I'm like correct, but was the war, because I love this movie. I love The Warriors by friggin' the '70s movie, and it's a game from Rockstar, but was The Warriors an influence or anything?
Oh, definitely. I
Yeah.
would say so. Yeah, right down from the soundtrack, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
The
I think
soundtrack
it
was
was.
really good.
Yeah, it's funny how you even brought up the video game. I think that even had more of an influence than the movie itself,
Yeah.
only because of the how well the Rockstar did a good job in that. They elaborated on the lore a lot, like excellent. It was great.
Yeah.
Especially the
love that.
soundtrack. They did a great job with recreating the
Oh
sound.
yeah.
So I would say, yeah, definitely. I would say the one night type of venture, you know, influence was that. Well, that was it. I would say so, as well as the gang, um, different locations, uh, and to even just stay a little bit on the Rockstar thing. I mean, I think that movie itself was a heavy influence to the whole, like company. I mean, you see that
Yeah.
in everything. They
Like Grand
love
Theft
showing
Auto.
yeah, you see those. You see every location of the city's gangs. You know, there's that dude right there. If you go into that region, feels differently because that gang occupies it, and you see that in every. You see
Yeah.
that DNA in everything.
Yeah. Did you have a
Bully,
yeah,
Red Dead
yeah, Bully? Ah,
Redemption.
I remember Bully. Did you
Yeah,
guys have a
it's cool.
favorite? What was your favorite gang in the Warriors though? Just hold on tough.
I mean, the Warriors. I mean,
Oh
for me
yeah, or just
specifically,
yeah, or
yeah,
yeah,
just because the maybe because they were just fleshed out.
yeah,
They're the only ones that are just fleshed out. I
yeah,
would say the Furies, I guess, but
yeah.
that's just because of look,
Yeah, the looks are
obviously.
iconic. Yeah, 100.
But
Did you have anyone?
Uh, Probably the Warriors too.
Yeah.
Can you dig it? And it's.
Yeah. I think I'd probably go with the riffs. Of the
the riffs are cool. Yeah,
Riches, yeah.
they had this very very sick look to it, honestly.
Definitely.
I mean that's how you would say for all of those. The Lizzies too.
Oh yeah, those is yeah.
But yeah, I feel that movie itself. Yeah, definitely an influence just because of
Yeah.
the way you can feel like that world has been lived in. Especially you don't like you can even say that that movie isn't even in the 70s. It's just like when you look at it, it's like in some other time zone.
Yeah, it's like alternate history New York.
Hell yeah, and that's the thing I dig about it. That's you see that something has happened within the world and society, and you're just literally dropped in for that one evening.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And can you talk a little bit because you're talking about this the coming age, the main character Felix, he's trying to like get out of like the city, he's trying to move away. Can you talk a little bit about writing that? Because I feel like the character, he's roughly like 20s, would you say, right?
yeah, I think yeah, mostly every one of my characters are like in early 20s. So
Okay. Because that's such a weird age when you think about it. Because it's like you kind of you finished high school, so you have like you have a degree to like work wherever minimum wage, but you kind of you're over childhood and you're kind of like pretty much an adult, but not really. Like you can't like have a 401k and like that age is like really like pivotal, I guess, in your life and all the decisions you make. And you're
yeah,
kind of like
definitely.
almost too young to like have that grasp of that too well. But can you talk a little bit, just kind of crafting like a coming of age tale? Because I find those like really timeless.
Yeah. Oh well, it's kind of hard for even say coming of age because you're so used to the fact that there's like high school like graduates. You come to all these films from the 80s, even early 2000s. You get this like high school stigma to it to coming of age. I can't even say this movie is even a coming of age, but the DNA is definitely there. It's more of just like young adult, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
I would say because that's primarily what I was at. That's where I was at in my point of time. I wrote this movie when I was in my early 20s, like so. I just wrote what I was experiencing, and as well as my friends and whoever I was surrounded with at the time. Uh, I guess it's just more grounded and just I guess relatable, or just whatever I was seeing at the moment, whatever struggles that people were going through at that moment, these thoughts, and also just like confusion. It's a lot of
yeah,
confusion that you have. I would say I had, especially. You just don't know what you really want, and I think maybe it's because I think we're past the whole moment where like your parents kind of like have this view of how you're gonna grow up, you know,
yeah,
and like you always have that idea where like I don't want to do that.
yeah,
And especially I guess for most of my friends, we're all Latino, so Hispanic, etc. So we have like this first generation, second generation, like offsprings and siblings that we have to like kind of amount to,
yeah,
So it's like that's where the confusion and the inspiration came from when just writing these characters. I think it's more of like, do I really want this? I just want to leave. I'm so tired of like staying at one place and one for so long, and
right.
it's I guess it's just something I noticed, and I thought it'd be pretty interesting to implement to a character because, well, one, that's where they can get to talking. It's
Yeah,
just like he can go on and just like understand, I guess. Um, and like I mentioned, I think it just comes down to like the point of time I was in. It's just the usual stuff that you go through like an early young adult, I guess.
yeah, definitely. It felt very like kind of like American Graffiti. Trying to get out of like a small town because I've kind of felt like that. Kind of like places I lived. Whittier. It's a very small town there. So yeah, just
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So yeah, I think you really handled that pretty maturely, and then too, it's good to see like Hispanic characters on screen. as well. I really, really dig that. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of like giving proper representation where it's more nuanced than say like any other um
Forced.
yeah, well like
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
Mhm.
yeah, that guess that's it. I just try not to be as forceful as you can. And plus, I mean, that's just my friend group.
Oh, okay.
It could be any ethnicity and race. But you're right. Yeah, I thought it would be proper just to show Latinos and to showcase them, especially young Latinos, and showcase them because yeah, it's representation definitely, and I think that's very important. But at the same time, um, you can write that with any character, but even then, I think it's more important to show it in the minority.
Yeah.
I think it showcases a lot more, and then hey, it's just realistic. It's just like you can drop yourself into any part of the city, and you can still see the people going through the same problems, maybe some harder, but I think it's just the realism aspect goes into it if you just show where you're from, And I think it was most important to just showcase the people that I'm around with the most.
Yeah. Do you have any like I guess kind of like experiences or like I don't want to base it on a friend like say that, but kind of like anything you could say making it so like lived in, I guess. Any experiences you could elaborate on?
In regards to
Oh, just like the story and kind of the characters and kind of like like we've all kind of been to that kind of party where
all right.
yeah, like they only have like two seats in the car and then like come
Right,
back
yeah.
to
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's just it. I wrote what I knew, like what I've
okay.
been through. It's all, I guess, an exaggeration of just like real life events. So, you're just writing it for the sake of fiction, and also for an entertaining story.
Yeah.
But just twist up a bit of like what your memories are, and then you can make a movie out of it or make a good story. I
Yeah,
mean, I think that's what every parent is after all. I think most of them just like try to like spicing up a bit of their memories, just in to just sort of entertain your children. It's like, yeah, I used to do this and that.
yeah,
I used to be all over the place and etc. But take that aspect into writing. I think that's kind of cool.
yeah, definitely. Because yeah, yeah, I really appreciate that. And then too, yeah, just like mm, sorry, I was gonna say that like yeah, this or the scene with where the character Brian, he's in the car trying to get the number of his crush. You know, that was very, very
Oh,
unique.
Felix,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry. I'm Felix. Sorry.
yeah, it's the third, but still, yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah, that was kind of like a nod to you mentioned the American Graffiti.
Oh,
I do I think when I saw that scene where like two people were speaking to each other at the other like in two different cars,
Oh,
and then
Harrison
seeing
Ford,
it,
yeah.
yeah, and then
Harrison Ford.
seeing,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's his. I think that might be his acting debut. Someone correct me if I'm
I
wrong.
think so. You might be
Yeah.
right because I don't remember anything else. So yeah,
Yeah,
you might be right.
before that he was just a set painter and apparently a pot
I
dealer.
believe so.
He was
Yeah,
selling
you're right. You're right. I
Harrison
think I
Ford.
think I saw that in a tweet. I think
Yeah,
from
someone was like he was slinging weed because when they saw Star Wars, they're like, "Hey, that's my pot dealer."
That's freaking funny. That's cool though. I mean, you get yourself to places if you meet some interesting people.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. But sorry, as you're saying.
Yeah. Definitely that. I took inspiration from that. I thought it was just kind of cool, and I saw it recreated in I think in Richard Linklater's early films. I saw that
Dazed and Confused.
in Days of Confused, and I saw it also in Slacker. There's that one moment where they were just talking to each other before they go into that venue. They're talking to another car as well, or they were in a car. I don't know, but if sorry, my memory is pretty blurred there. But I saw it practiced in that film too, and I don't know. I just thought, why not do that? I thought that was pretty sick. Just because, like, like sometimes it's kind of cool that you could do that kind of stuff, but um, and like it's a slice of life type of thing, sometimes you just do.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be pretty cool to practice that on film, like on a short or like a feature film, and it takes until you actually do it, to see it happen.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of changing gears. Can you guys talk a little bit? Because I really enjoyed the music in the soundtrack of that particular scene. I'm not sure if the theme for his love interest, but like kind of I forgot how the theme goes. It's like do do. I can't do it. But
Dun,
like
dun, 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 dun,
yeah,
dun, dun,
yeah. That
dun.
was that was really slick. Yeah, I thought that. Can you guys talk a little bit about the music and kind of like your composer and what kind of like sound you're trying to give the movie?
Hell yeah. That's all done by Jonathan Rocha. He's an old friend of mine too. That he composed all the songs, and that was actually samples. Those were the entire soundtrack is made out of samples.
Oh, okay.
He just recomposed them, mixed them, chopped them, etc. But yeah, I pre-production phase. I think I remember approaching him and just asking him like, "Hey, we got to do something different with the soundtrack in regards to this because one, we don't have enough money to like pay anyone to do anything original, and plus, what doesn't sound so typical than just orchestral and your usual like pop soundtrack, you know?" And that was around the time when he had just gotten his sampler, like SP4, and then he was just like he was going nuts with like these artists, especially the Avalanches. We were really obsessed with the Avalanches around that time, and we just like freaked over the fact that like, oh, they're back with this like new album. And well, we were just admiring their efforts and like the way they shape music with like the sound of like sampling. Usually you would see that produced for like rap and etc. But in this case they used it in a very psychedelic way, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
dig this.
very
It,
psychedelic.
yeah, it almost feels like a soundtrack. And in my head, I'm like, you know what? That's it. That's what we want. We want that sound for a film. Like I would like to see that in a film because one, yeah. Also, that this is another thing I approached them with. I told them, hey, we're gonna make a movie we're gonna make it with no money. If people don't like this movie, that's fine. Obviously, I didn't lose anything outside of my outside of time. But if there's one thing that they're gonna like, at least it's the music for it. So we tried our best to make it sound as cool as it is, as well as proper and we don't want something to just overshadow a scene or anything, but we were very careful with how we were composing and working with the music with that. And I was there with them too because, well, one, I wanted to hear something new from him, but at the same time, like, hey, that'd be pretty cool if like we took the direction, like that scene should have like a theme song, like how you mentioned. That'd be pretty cool, Like we thought that setting, we looked at the setting, etc. And we just took it in a very experimental way. I think that's
Yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say.
yeah, definitely. I guess talk just a little bit just about directing actors too. Just kind of that guerrilla style, just on another topic right there, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. So I think as you can notice, most of my crew was actually, and the cast was mainly compiled of my friends,
Hmm.
and it was compiled of like non-actors and
Okay.
actors. I thought there was also an experimentation I wanted to do where I thought it'd be pretty interesting to sort of blend professionally trained actors as well as people that are just right, like everyday normal people,
Yeah,
and mix
kind
them
of.
together just so they can bounce off of each other. One,
Yeah.
I needed to get a group of skaters. That's one
Okay.
thing. And if there's one thing that you just can't get right is trying to teach an actor to skate. That's just not gonna work out. especially to pull off the look. Like, how are you gonna do that? And within such a short time too, with no money, no, that's not true. And I'm surrounded by a bunch of like friends that skate, so I thought just throw them in the movie. It'd be pretty cool. Of course, it'll take longer. It takes longer to direct people that just don't know how to act. But I think that like a really useful like advice to say is just try to make them comfortable as much as you can, and just tell them to act like themselves. Because one, I wanted to some of my friends, especially the one that plays Geo, my friend Danny, he's a character of his own. Like I thought, oh fuck, you're my Jay, and like
Okay.
so like he has like
All
this
right.
this character, like some of the shit you say like in like when we're like hanging out, it's just like we gotta like record you sometimes. You're a jackass sometimes, but also you're just really funny. And I thought like it'd be pretty cool to just have you in the movie. and it worked. You know, it just worked because he's not shy at all. It did take a while for him to be comfortable, but that's just anyone, you know. But going back to the topic, I thought, like I said, it was a kind of an experimentation I wanted to do. I wanted to have professionally trained actors to just be there and interact with like people that just don't, and have them bounce off of each other. One, it helps the non-actors just get comfortable on set, as well as just get some sort of pointers, as well as just professionally trained. You know, they just kind of like feed off their energy, feed off their vibe at that moment. You know, how do I accurately portray? How do I accurately know what this person is feeling? At least the character, what I'm trying to say, and it just worked. I don't know. I thought what turned out on the film was actually pretty cool. Especially just the performances. Alex Santana and Justin Huff, which is Brian and Felix, they did a good job.
Yeah. Yeah.
They yeah, I thought like I try to keep their scenes very intimate and very like isolated, just having them to have conversations, take a break from the plot, and it worked. One, it was a lot less stress to set up scenes like that, but also it gives you enough time to take careful attention to just the actors, just how their performances are, and it's easier to just go ahead and just like pull them to the side and have a conversation and ask them like, hey, so like, what do you think of this scene? Do you think it's do you believe it? What is this person saying? Like they have enough time to just like cooperate and just communicate and be like, yeah, this isn't gonna work, or like, yeah, like this is fine. Some days are easier, some days are like longer, but it's just easier when you try to like take it in step by step, especially with scenes that just involve two people. I think that's just stronger because you're just there for longer, and by the time it's over, it's just like, well, wow, like we spent an hour just shooting this. It's just like we don't even need like any more takes.
Yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I feel like look at Nomadland. A lot of non-actors in there, so it's certainly
Definitely, yeah.
yeah, it really just depends on their direction, the story. I guess kind of like just a fun question for you guys, because I know you were filming late nights. What was the best place to eat, or anything like after or before the shoot? What would you go to like around that area?
Um, Definitely Jim's Burgers. It's in Boyle
Okay,
Heights.
yeah, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, that there, and then there's another spot called JNS. Are you familiar with that
I
one?
oh yeah, I know JNS. Yeah, it was it's in Montebello. Yeah, I love that place. It's really
Yeah,
cheap.
yeah. It's more of a trucker like stop because like it's
Yeah.
open late night and you can just buy a hot dog and whatever. Breakfast burritos are good there too.
Right.
Just fast foods,
I
stuff
like
like fast
the
food.
soft or it's like the hard quesadilla or the soft tostada. That's a good one. That's what my dad gets. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I took Alejandro to Jim's
James.
Burgers after like those two shoots over
And then
at
I was
that.
like, wow, that's in the movie too. What?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite spot, Alejandro, that you go to like in
um,
this area?
so here, like, okay, so in LA, like, I like, it's in Pasadena.
Is it the one that we went to after your birthday?
Yeah, it's called Best, not Best Boy,
Uh,
Big Boy,
Lucky
no,
Boy, Lucky
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 Boy.
Boy.
Boy,
Yeah,
yeah.
Lucky Boy.
Lucky Boy is great. James Burger is good too. And there's a place that I found out here by Main Street. Dang it, what's it called? They have pretty good pastrami sandwiches.
Is it
Uh,
Kiriko's? Kiriko's?
no, no, no. It's right here by
It's not the hat, is it?
Well, I mean, the hat is like a good
That's
praise,
good.
but
Yeah,
we're
the
talking
hat
about
is
like
great.
late night snacks.
Yeah.
Avenue 26 tacos in Lincoln Heights pretty good. Now it's a whole venue. It's like a lot of different, not only like tacos now. There's a lot of Peruvian food,
Ooh.
Colombian food, elotes,
Oh, nice.
esquites. Well, esquites sounds like the lotus all prepared, and it has to be like made is like very stereotypical, but Tommy's still hits the
Tommy.
spot. Original
Tommy's is
Tommy's in
good.
downtown LA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the original Tommy's is great. The one in like Hollywood's good. All the Tommy's are good.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I like I would say the only I guess it's a hot take, but I feel like King Taco is just a little bit overrated.
It's pretty expensive for what it is.
Yeah, it's like-
Uh,
Why don't I go? I could go to like Trejo's Tacos and I'll get like the same price, which is
Trejo's Tacos overrated too.
It's
and,
overrated,
yeah, Trejo's Cantina. I think the
That's only
Trejo's,
'cause of the name.
it's only because of Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
You guys should try to get him in a movie. Apparently, like he charges really low. Like he's down for anything. Maybe
It seems
if we
like
just-
it, yeah.
Maybe we'll like edit out the part where we
Taco
saying his
one.
tacos are overpriced.
Yeah.
But, you know,
That's
give it a
funny.
Yeah,
Hey man,
I-
we're customers at the end of the day, so
shot.
I worked with him in that movie, so I've seen Danny Trejo working. He's pretty chill. I like him.
Yeah, he seems like a nice guy. But yeah, I think I would just say probably like I would go to like King Torta or forget.
oh, I love King Torta.
Yeah, it's
He
in,
goes
Yeah.
so good, yeah.
yeah, it's in Alhambra, but I would go to Pepe's. Yeah, or Astro Burger. Those are mine. But yeah, I know. I was just wondering. And one last question before we kind of talk about the last couple talks for the movie. Do you guys have a favorite Grindhouse film?
Oh, don't ask Richard, man. He's gonna get in the
Oh,
tram,
okay.
dude.
I guess
I don't know.
like, off the top of your head that you would recommend to someone trying to get into the genre. That'd be like this encapsulates everything about this genre. To be more concise.
I guess. I mean, yeah, not the most extreme, but like, you know, a good starter one is always the one that you always hear first is probably Cannibal Holocaust, just because of the way it's just because of the reputation
unique.
it is, you know.
It's unique. We'll say that.
It is unique. It's also cool. It's also the first they did it first before Blair Witch, so
Oh yeah.
but yes, definitely that. That's a good starter one, first of all. Yeah, it's cool. Shock value is there. Also, just the the realism to it, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Alejandro, do you have one?
Dang it! Now,
Maybe like the last one you saw at New Beverly.
I will. And the thing, like I haven't seen any of them. Well, if like it's something I seen like because I go to the Arrow for the Horton, and that's when
Oh.
you see all the
We did.
hardcore stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, we did the at home horathon last year. That was fun.
Well, Rich, I have to thank you, man. It's an all-nighter, 6 movies on Halloween night, all night from 7 p.m. to 11 in the morning.
Yeah.
Damn.
Free pizza and coffee. Dang it.
Yeah, it's programmed by everyone at the American Cinematheque. I think it's like Grant Moriger and all
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah, they're really cool.
Nice.
Shoot,
They're really great.
come back to me because I think I
okay.
have so many movies that I
As long as you don't say like, what's that one Italian one? Zombie,
a zombie. Oh, you mean what's it called?
Zombie 2, the one where the child eats the mom and there's
Oh yeah, we
Ghost.
saw that. Yeah.
that one's so gross. I
It's,
hate-
it's called something on a day. Yeah, I don't even remember the title.
Yeah, it's alright. Oh, okay, we'll go back to that. But can you guys talk a little bit? And this is also a question for Alejandro. Talk a little bit about the future of the film, what you're trying to do. I know you're trying to get it distributed and everything. If you could, can you fill us in?
So Richard and I created a company called Cabrito. It's an LLC, minor company right now. We're trying to. The thing is, okay. So like I said before, Richard wanted to get. We're very big fans of physical media, Criterion Collection, Arrow Video. We grew up in the 2000s era.
200.
I was like, oh,
That's too
don't even
far.
movies, you know.
Yeah.
We
We're
old.
theater, we're old.
Yeah.
No, like I think owning like even like here my
Oh, and so he has a good movie
I
collection.
have a
I'll
lot
tell
of still DVDs. I know Richard.
Yeah, dude.
Upgrades
You have a
all
lot of
the-
movies, by the way. I think reviewing your movie collection is like, damn, do you sometimes put the Barnes and Nobles to shame?
you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, some like I think like Best Buy is like downsizing their physical media department.
Yeah, that shit's dying.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be lucky if you find any like.
Good.
I mean,
yeah.
I guess they're known for steelbooks, but
Yeah,
like you'll be
Steelbook.
lucky to find any like any of like older titles.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you have to have like 5 steelbooks of Rogue One.
Yeah, no, like, and I think my mom was a big fan of video cassettes. Vinyls are coming back. All those things that are just tangible. Like now with streaming, like it's good if I mean streaming is great, but if you're not subscribed, and there's like so many things to subscribe now.
Yes. Oh,
You own the physical copy of the movie. It's like you're buying like what you bought for a movie ticket. I was watching Mank, David Fincher's Mank,
hmm,
and well, great movie. If you like, Hollywood history,
it's a
if
great
not,
one.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that movie.
There's one scene that I think Louis Mayer saying like, well, the truth of cinema and film is that the buyer gets nothing but a memory. So even back in the days that you were going to the cinema, which is great, but you just the movie does its run. You never see it unless it's a special event, and and especially here in LA, we're lucky to go to those events that we're able to see movies on
Yeah.
film, pre old movies. But with the physical media, you actually like I mean, no, it's not only a memory; it's a physical memory. You can go back to it. I don't know if you guys do it. Like, I'm a guy that I watch movies so many times just for the pleasure of it.
Yeah. You wore out the Blu-rays, the DVDs. My Indiana Jones box set. It's on DVD, but I'll never get rid of that. It's too much value, you know?
Exactly, and I think one of the cool things about like sharing those things with Richard is that we're both on the same. I mean, first of all, we like similar movies because we are very open in our tastes, and we watch a lot of movies. But we really appreciate the extra work that goes on a Criterion on every release, all the special features and how everything is produced. Like it is a little bit pricey, but like I'll pay for it because I know that I'm getting like a lot of things uh, for my money. Uh, so Richa and I started like seeing like okay, production companies and distribution companies they only pick up maybe 5 movies a year. Lucky enough, like companies like Neon that they put their bits on Parasite. Parasite was great. Like A24, even A24 is not a production company; it's a
Yeah,
distribution company.
people forget that. Yeah, people forget
Yeah,
that. It's not a production company, it's a distribution, yeah.
and they have a sense of culture, pretty niche sense of culture, and it wasn't the favor. So Richa and I were trying to look for those, um, and then we asking around and like finding a distribution company. You have to get an agent, you have to get a sales agent. So it has so much that Richard with Ramblings Productions has already a fan built in and a community of filmmakers. So is my network and like local people here in East Los Angeles. So we're trying to get the product to the people who are interested in acquiring. Right now, we're doing a Blu-ray release for the film. And we're did a lot of Richard's a fantastic editor, and he did so much content for it, behind the scenes, Scoputones, trailers, interviews with Jonathan Rocha, the composer of the movie that we're talking about, the score. And I begged Rich, I was like, please talk about your scenes because there's so many great scenes that I want to hear, like the story behind them. And Richard did. We did subtitles for it, and name six scene selection, and again keeping what we grew up on. That our DVD menus are not only pop-up menus; they're like more interactive menus in pages that you go and like search.
Yeah.
So we just kind of putting us as a reference. Kind of a Holocaust was a big reference for the Blu-ray as well.
Yeah, we did look into that. Yeah, I think that was when we were doing research on like menu designs. We
Yeah.
saw we had found one. We had also found a fan made one. I'm not gonna throw him under the bus or anything, but we had saw one, and it was pretty impressive. I was like, oh, you did a good job. You set up the button layouts, the menu layouts, the page layouts, and like it's all very in depth. And this is all made like DIY. I was like, oh, that's a good reference right there.
That's
Yeah.
cool because I feel like it's sad because it's like current Blu-rays. Like if you look at all the Blu-rays from like Warner Brothers, the menus have no style. They're just cookie
Yeah.
cutter. Like
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
I could say a few. Yeah, I think it was funny.
the
Mad
Blade
I think
Max.
last
Runner,
time
the
Alejandro
Blade
was
Runner
over.
Blu-ray is just atrocious. That's some good
Yikes.
special features. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that thing, sure, but the art of like physical media does come down to your the presentation. So like the menu, if the design is kind of whack, oh man, that loses a little bit of value. We were looking at my Mad Max Fury Road steelbook, and I love that steelbook. I was like, oh, I love this one because of the poster, the ultimate poster. And like we popped it in, and then I believe Alejandro was calling it first. It's like that's the edition that comes out in the $5 like bin. I was like, what? And then like we put it in, and it's the exact same stock layout. It's like play movie, chapters, scene selection, that's it. And it's like static image, soundtrack playing in the background. I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah.
This sucks. But you know, I mean, that's what you get, I guess. But from like just modern releases, they don't really do the effort anymore. And we're seeing the decline in that. And I think that's what Alejandro's trying to point out. It's just that like there is a focus that was once there, especially in the DVD culture, especially in home media in general, that is not found anymore. And you know, it's just because of the digital age. But
yeah, sadly, that's the truth. You know, hopefully, you know, trends come back. You know, hopefully you could see, you know, with
yeah,
titles
definitely.
like Arrow or Shout Factory.
Yeah, they've done a good job. They've done a great
Yeah,
job.
they've done
You
good.
just have to keep pushing it. You have to keep
Yeah.
pushing the format, regardless of it being out of style. It's just respect for like media, you know.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But yeah, you know, I really dug you know, movies like this, and you know that try to, excuse me, that really take you to another, that put you in another time. And you know, the fact that you're doing like a Blu-ray release, and you know, this kind of you know, different kind of like marketing, and almost like Sam Raimi, he took the Evil Dead to all the drive-ins. You know, it kind of reminds me of like a modern version to that. So I really commend you for just kind of like, you know, this getting the nuts and bolts together to really showcase your guys' work. So glad to feature it on the podcast and kind of talk about it and everything. You know.
Hey, thank you. Yeah, and thank you for the whole Sam Raimi thing. I love that guy.
We love that dude on the, we worship that guy on the podcast. You know.
Yeah, he's a fantastic like filmmaker. He's just genius. But he's also very subtle. But like when you really get to hear him talk, especially in just archived like interviews and etc., you just see how much of he just knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Pretty much, he's got it. You know.
Yeah. But cool. Yeah. No. Thank you guys for, you know, kind of at our time, but you know, thanks for talking about the movie Midnight Run on the podcast, being on the podcast. It's cool to have Alejandro back on. Cool to find to have you on, Richard. Where can people find you at? And then what do you, is there any plugs or anything you want to do for the movie? Just tell us and everything.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I can primarily say the Cabrito, like our company that we're starting up. Alejandro, I teamed up with him because I found that he's like probably the most relatable filmmaker I've met so far, especially from like the community college I went to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just like as soon as when I first met him, I knew he was really easy to talk to, and also we clicked. He has an open taste. That's the most important thing. So I thought it was really important. Yeah, and I just hung on to him, and then got back to him, and we started this thing. Definitely that it's fairly new, especially since this is going to be our first release. But it's definitely a testament and also a proof of concept of what we're able to do. It's yeah, you can definitely check us out. It's Cabrito DIST for like distribution. You can find us on Instagram. Soon enough, there'll be a website, but you can find us there on social media. And there's Ramblings Productions, which is a production company that I'm with a bunch of my friends, basically East Los Angeles natives, and just post up our work there.
Nice.
We have a website, ramblingsproductions.com. You can go there, as well as Instagram. We're mostly active on there and Twitter.
Okay. Yeah, we'll put all the links in the description. Where can people find you, Richard?
Me? Well, you can also find me on Twitter. Mainly just I'm very much on the internet, so you'll most likely see me there. Yeah. My name is Lo-Fi Surfer without the E, so it's LOFI SURFR. You'll probably find me on a simple Google search and see all my social media links there because I use the same username. But you'll find me there on Twitter mainly, and Instagram if you'd like. But
keep it simple.
But yeah, you can definitely find me there.
Yeah. Alejandro, where can people find you if you have any plugs as well?
They can find me on again Twitter. I go by Echega. It's like a little short for my last name, ECHEGA. and 16 because I was 16 when I started Twitter.
Okay.
And my
I
Instagram
did not know that.
page, yeah, I had to do it for a class. My class was tweeting so you can get credit because it's like, oh, there's gonna be the new social media coming out, guys. So
Little did we know the damage it would do to the world.
Twitter's a mess sometimes,
It really
but
is. Yeah.
that's its good aspects, I guess. But
Yeah.
I love Instagram. 24/7 on Instagram. Same thing, Echega as ECHEGA, and then 1, 2, 3. Crazy.
Awesome.
And also, if anyone's interested to watching the movie, just be tuned because we're gonna be releasing some stuff this week in terms of release dates and pre-ordering.
Okay.
And we wanna again give you all this content. The Blu-ray is more. We got Danny. What was this Instagram for Danny's Instagram?
yes, yeah, I can plug in a bit more. So this is he did the cover design for the Blu-ray and as well as the logo work, and then pretty much he's also a part of Ramblings as well. You can find his artwork on Hecho de Barro. So that's yeah, you can find all his work there too. He's done an amazing job with the Blu-ray cover design. You can see it all there, and you can find them on Instagram there.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. I definitely want to check that out. But cool. Yeah, we'll be on the lookout for that. Please give them a follow. I saw this movie. I would really recommend checking it out. You have my seal of approval. Yeah. So please, you want to, any listeners support independent film, do it through here. Check out their label. The movie was Midnight Run, Rambling Productions, and yeah, definitely look. We're gonna put all the info in the link of this description and follow them there. So cool, guys. Cool. Yeah, I'm excited to see where this goes here, and hope we could have you on again. I guess that's our show. I was just gonna say you could find me on Twitter and Instagram, G989892. You can find the podcast at the Waffle Press Podcast on Twitter, or excuse me, on Instagram, and then at the Waffle Press Podcast on Twitter. We're on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe. You find something you like, or maybe something you don't like, subscribe anyway. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We've been Professionally Unprofessional.